So this time I'm not channeling as such. I woke up and had this urge or pull to share some of my experiences about being woman, about giving birth, some physical aspects, but most of all some universal aspects, something about life and death. I am woman. I'm living in Northern Europe, in Denmark. I'm 47 years old. I have two sons, giving birth to them physically, naturally. But the thing that struck me this morning was the feeling of an opening in the body. And these topics are difficult to put words to when they are experienced in the body. There are components to them that are so beyond our logic and reason mind, we cannot understand it, but when we experience it, it is so true in its nature. I don't know how men respond to hearing these things, but as a woman, I find it reassuring to share these things because it is part of the human journey for a woman on a physical level, but I guess also for a man on an experiment. No, I don't know which level it is for a man, but definitely not physical. Or perhaps you men can teach me and us women something. When I gave birth to my second son, I was more aligned with the experience because I've tried it before. I was older, my body knew what it was doing in a better way than the first time. And I was much more in calm silence with myself. I have, before my second child came to the world, I had another awakening that brought deep peace to my mind and to my body and to my soul. So, of course, there was physical sensations that I also today will call pain. It was painful, and just as the first time, I thought I should die of pain. And my thought, both the first time giving birth and the second time giving birth, the thought was, as long as the baby, the newborn, will live, then it's okay if I die. And it was not a mental decision, it was just like nature saying, new must come. The old can fall, new must come. And it was very crazy to feel it without any nostalgia or any sorrow. It was just a clear-cut thought. As long as the baby is okay, the new is born, then it's not that important with me. That is groundbreaking to experience for the ego, to let itself go like that. So the second time around when I felt that, it was natural and it was fine on a higher level, so to speak, and I was at peace with myself as becoming, the process of becoming mother. I had tried it before, it was okay for me, I would do it again. Of course, I love being a mother. And in that process, because I had learned deeper things about surrendering, I surrendered deeply into the pain. And I surrendered deeply into this physical process where you feel like, as a woman, you have a tight skeleton. And even though the the pregnancy, even though during the pregnancy there are loosening up all the physical bindings in there, when the baby is pulling through, or you are together with your baby working your own way through this vortex, this tunnel, this experience of being split apart physically in the pelvis and the structures around it, it is so, when you can stay present with that experience and not being afraid and not trying to run and escape from it, but when you can stay present with it, it feels like you yourself are the portal. And of course you are, but it is so clear-cut present in your experience that now you are giving birth to new life. And I was in some, I don't know, but magical way, I was being present with it physically, feeling giving birth without being overwhelmed of it. And at that magical point in time, my consciousness, I don't know exactly how to explain it, so I'll just try, and I probably won't use the right words, but my consciousness expanded, and my physical body was nothing. I couldn't feel it, I didn't identify with it, I couldn't see it, it was not me. And I guess I was out of my body, but I still felt very present in it, even though I couldn't feel it. Because my consciousness exploded into being universal life. And I felt I was the universe birthing itself. I felt there was this galactic consciousness seeing itself, giving birth to another self, like these fragmentations down into the line of consciousness. And at that level, at that point of my experience, if I can call it mine, there was no pain. There was only this extreme beauty. An extreme natural, I got chills. It was so natural, these life forces. And in that experience, there was so much tension and yet so much, the birthing process is a cooperating thing between mother and baby. And it was the same here in these universal aspects. It was like time and space time and space created matter, and that experience, that matter being produced, being pushed forth into time and space, into experience, was at the same time very tight and yet so soft, so powerful, so forceful, so like the water streaming couldn't be stopped, yet so mild and giving and receiving at the same time. It was like the process of giving and receiving in one motion. And it was beauty, it was grace, it was me, but not me as a person, it was life. It was life experiencing itself. It was this resonance of me being alive. And of course that experience was in a blink of an eye, and yet it was eternity. And I was back into my physical body, and I gave birth, and my son came out, and I felt bliss. We in this body are life givers, creators in such a profound way. And we cannot fathom it with our mental, with our intellect, with our physical body alone. We must give in to have a consensus between the physical body and the mind and the consciousness in such a broad variety of colors and levels of what consciousness is. And we cannot know it all. We must let it show itself when we are ready. Because I guess that we as a human experience most of us go through life without these experiences. And if it is forced upon us, or if we break through to it in perhaps uncomfortable ways, but also perhaps in ways where we try to reach out further than we are ready for, it can be destructive, I guess. I have heard stories about destructive processes like this, but I have also heard stories about natural process just coming to life out of nowhere in a person that didn't expect it because it wasn't a part of their reality, but suddenly it was. So I'm not trying to convince anybody if this is true or not. I can only say that this is my experience. And then there comes a component to it that talks into the sexual part of being woman. And I'm not trying to be vulgar or going past boundaries of what to share. But imagine these perspectives into sexuality, not the birthing process, but what comes before. There are aspects of these dimensions too. And I have never been into Tantra or Kama Sutra or any of these sexual explorations. I have read books about the philosophy of Tantra, and it's not only sexual, it's a way of life. It talks to me, I love that. But I have never practiced it. It's just kind of inspiration of my belief system. And the word belief system is also key here, because even though we believe some things, it doesn't mean that we have experiences that line up with these beliefs. So sometimes we must realize that the belief we have will be shattered. And we must find another way to be present in our life not without beliefs, because I guess beliefs is part of our anchoring into earth, but we can be very much relieved of many beliefs. So having only a very few to stick to some kind of anchor point in our lives. But these physical aspects, these consciousness aspects, these mind-blowing realizations that the connectedness with our physical nature, with our physical experiences, with our consciousness, not only the intellectual consciousness or our everyday life consciousness, but a consciousness that can experience itself on a universal level, where, using the word galactic, the universe birthing itself, the galaxy birthing another galaxy. It's crazy. And it's beautiful. And it's not out of form. And it's not out of my experience. I am part of this. You are too. You are part of this creational process that is, as I experienced it, it's just the fractal theory. It's just the fractal theory, or the observation of fractalization in natural form. And I guess also in the form of consciousness. I know so many people are so intelligent and have beautiful ways of explaining this on a theoretical dimension or plane, but it's just, I have it in experience. And I would love to learn about it, but the learning process is not my way of going through life. I love to be inspired, but it doesn't stick to my mind. I cannot remember all the things that I'm learning, but it's creating such a deep impact on me when I am experiencing it. So why I had the urge to make this video talking into this subject, I really don't know. And I'm sorry if I have offended or talked over your limit, but you are free to click off at any time. But I guess there are inspirations that we must give one another. And my experience can perhaps inspire someone else, just as other people's experiences inspire me. And makes us proud, and makes us courageous, courage, heart, having the heart to go forward, being present with our experiences without being afraid of them, of finding ways to anchor into our body and not escaping this reality, but making it profound where it is. I love the sacred and the profane. Oh, is that the right words? I don't know, but you know what I mean, I guess. I love being wholly present. I mean, wholly as a whole, with everything that is in my capacity to experience. And giving birth was one of the great ones. You know, when I gave birth to my first son, it was, of course, a new experience. I didn't know what it was, and I was scared, and it did hurt. But I loved to have I loved that I was allowed to experience it. And when he came out of me, that experience of letting him into this life, going with him, being part of him, protecting him, bonding with him, being with him, being him. I mean, he is part of me. I created him together with my then husband. Being father and mother to this son, and feeling him leaving my body, being placed in this reality as part of my reality too. It's such a beautiful thing. And I could cry right now. And when I saw him, the first thought was, oh, it's you. I know you. And I have been wondering who you were when you were in me, but now I see it is you. And I don't know where that came from, but I guess on a soul level, we are connected. Of course we are. This life, this beauty and grace, and this pain, we can give into the suffering if we want to, and we can experience the release into deep surrender into what is very present in our body, in our life, in our grand experience of consciousness. If you have come so far, then thank you for listening, and please let me know if this has made any difference to you, inspired, or I don't know, or perhaps it doesn't matter. Perhaps it's just meant to come out there, doing whatever. At least it did something for me to explain, to give, to open up, to share to whomever, but of course only to you that wants this information. Be life out there. Just be life.